What is the most effective way to avoid being triggered? You know, when something happens and you're in a normal situation, everything's going well, everybody is cool, and all of a sudden somebody says something and somebody else loses it. And a trigger just happened, and all of a sudden people are not reasonable. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you feel that you're not being your best, but you just can't help it because they just hit that button. They just hit this squeaky nerve, that piece of yourself that was deeply sleeping inside you, and all of a sudden the monster has just been released, and you feel that you're no good for nobody. Or maybe it happens to somebody around you that you feel that you have to walk on eggshell around them and not poking the bear, because the small little thing will make them unleash that whole other person that everybody stops speaking and hope that it calms back down and that giant monster goes back to sleep soon. So how do you avoid getting triggered? And I know that there are lots of band-aids, there's lots of tips, and I personally use these tips with people, and I believe that they are efficient to a certain extent, like pausing and taking a deep breath, trying to get a shot of positive feel-good chemical in your bloodstream. So if you go for a walk, movement, stress balls, breathing, there's many of these tips, but they're not the most effective way to keep yourself from being triggered. The most effective way is to remove the button, because the reason why you got triggered was not because the event that was happening just occurred. The reason why you got triggered is because somehow in the past a button was created. You were not born needing to respond this certain way to this specific event. Everybody lives in their own model of reality. And what happens is that we respond to what we stored in our limbic brain. So things happen in the prefrontal cortex, but we can't leave it there because we would go crazy, because it triggers powerful emotion like anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt. So the unconscious mind comes to the rescue. It takes this big, powerful emotion and stores it along with the memory in the limbic brain, giving it a meaning and creating a neural pathway that when something resembles this, it puts it in that box that this is how we have to feel. So it creates a button that says, whenever something like this happens, this is how I want you to feel. This is how we need to feel. And this is what triggers that kind of feel bad reaction. So how do you do that? How do you remove the button, right? That's what I do with my clients. I help them identify what is the trigger, what does that come from really? And we go back into the past to try to figure out what is going on. So what you can do is look at this trigger. What comes and gets you? What is your pet peeve? What makes you feel completely out of your mind? And try to identify what is that call from the past that I'm receiving right now. So somehow this started at one point, and obviously I have not processed that experience, meaning I have not received all the positive learnings yet from that experience. So therefore, my trigger is very much real. And instead of triggering a learning from this past experience, because the reason why it happened was to make you grow, to make you step up on your life journey, and to make you learn something. But because you have not processed that and attributed this beautiful learning, saying, oh my gosh, I remember this event, I will put that in the box of the time that I learned this amazing thing that made me grow. It's not how it is created in your neural pathway. The neural pathway that was created was things like this makes me feel terrible, and I'm angry and I'm frustrated, and this is how I need to respond. So you need to go back into the past and disconnect this piece by saying, wait, what have I learned? And how can I reassign a different meaning to this event? And being thankful and grateful, because without this event, I would not have learned this, and create a different emotional reaction, a positive, reinvented meaning, so that this event, if it is being recalled, it will make you feel good. So that is how we get rid of that button, so that nobody can trigger you again.